Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your foreman, as usual, Douglas Scoundrels, and today we are assembling the Ten Thunders Lynch core box. This includes 6 models, Jakob Lynch himself, this lovely man here with the cards, his totem, the Hungering Darkness, this beastie monstrosity, a henchman, Kitty Dumont, this ghostly barkeep, and 3 minions, which are called Illuminated, which we see one of them here in the center. That's the artwork. Here are the renders on the back. We'll go ahead and start with Jacob, and then do Hungering Darkness, or Huggy. The community refers to him as Huggy. Kitty Dumont after that, and then the 3 minions, 1, 2, 3. Here's our sprue for the evening. This one's pretty hefty, but we're looking at Lynch down here, Hungering Darkness all the way up at the top, taking up the entire row, Kitty Dumont in this corner, and then the 3 Illuminated at the bottom. So let's start with Lynch. We're going to grab his body and throw the legs on, slap his gun on top, on I think it's belt. Yeah, the gun goes on the belt, and the head. Put the arm with the cane on, the left arm, glue the head made out of cards onto the magical effect, and then glue his right arm on last. F2 is our body. Let's add F for the legs. Pretty easy to squish that in there. Next will be F7, the gun that goes right on his belt. A bit wiggly, but if you get it to sit real nice and flush against his body, you know it's good. Let's give him a head. F6. There it is attached. It's also a little bit wiggly, but you can see the notch in the collar of his shirt. Just get that to line up with the tie. Here we are with F3 attached. There's an obvious notch. It took me a little bit of fiddling to get that to sit there in there anyways. That's just mostly due to the angle. But once you get it in the angle I have set there, it'll fit nicely and you know it's working. Now looking at F1 here, and we're going to jam F5, the sort of skull made out of cards, in this spot right here. Alright, here's F5 attached. Let's glue it onto his body. There we are. Just put it on the little peg. Its normal tooth and gap connection, and just rotate it until it sits flush against the body. And that's all you need to do. We have completed Jakob Lynch, the master, in the core box. Very pretty model. Most difficult part is the left arm, I guess. Just rotating it into place and getting it set correctly. But that's not difficult at all anyways. It's just a really simple model. Let's move on to Hungering Darkness. Here's Huggy's big sprue. Not a ton of pieces, just big pieces. We'll grab the body, and then we'll shove the left arm on him. Then we'll do the left leg, which I think is the shorter one. Yeah, this guy up here. The tail, the right leg, the right arm, and this thing goes with it somehow. And then we'll end up with the face last. Here's A8, the body, and just because we'll be staring at us, let's do the face first, which is A1. Here's A1 attached. Kind of hard to figure out which end is up. Best guess, or best way to determine that is that the upper jaw sticks out more than the lower jaw, and the lower jaw has the wider mandibles on it. Let's add the left arm. Yeah, left arm. Keep forgetting my right from my left. And that will be A4. Left arm is connected. It took up both of those holes on this side of the body. And the left leg, which I believe is A6, is going to glue to this nub down here. Left leg doesn't have a terribly great set. Like, it's not painfully obvious how it's supposed to angle, and it does wiggle. Just spin it until there's really no gap, and that will be the best position. Tail time. I'm gonna go right there, pretty obviously. This is A5. Attached, it wraps around the left foot. Glad we put the foot on first, but it should be sitting on the ground mostly when you put them on the base. A7, right foot, in that hole. Huggy sadly skipped leg day. Let's do the right arm, A2, and A3 somehow. We'll see if that needs to go in first. We're going to need to do the smaller bit first. It's just going to go ahead and be right along that nice ridge. A3, the back tentacles, goes in nice and smooth, and that will sort of complete the surface area, the connection point for the right arm, which is A7. I'm pretty sure anyways. Let's jam that on there. Huzzah! Goes in fine. We're done. Fiery Darkness. No difficult parts. The hardest part is maybe wiggling the left leg into place. Other than that, trimming it isn't the easiest thing. Not too terribly hard, though. Which I say all the freaking time. Let's move on to Kitty Dumont. Here's a look at Kitty's sprue. Another easy one. We're just going to go ahead and grab the body. Whoops, jeez. The body, put the legs on, then the right arm, left arm, and the hair last. Start with B2 the body, and then add B1 the legs, right where legs normally go. Easy step. Next will be B5 the right arm, the one holding the bottle. The right arm has a tooth on it that helps it connect to the connection point and the shoulder, but that's also what is attached to the sprue, so be careful clipping that out, otherwise you'll cut off too much and it'll be harder to set the arm in at the right angle. But let's get the left arm in there just to make sure we've got the correct angle. Otherwise you're just going to be pouring liquor on the ground. No one wants that. B4 the left arm. Good thing we did that, because goodness, my angle is incorrect on the right arm. I would actually suggest doing the left arm first, because the connection tooth there, you aren't accidentally going to clip off too much of it, so it sets better. You are more confident in what the angle is supposed to be. So do that, and then do the right arm and sort of guide it into it so she's actually pouring it into the cup. Let's do the last bit, her hair, B3, on the back of her head. Now how these two connect, it seems pretty obvious to me, but I figured I'd show you. Obviously, they'll sandwich together like that. She does come with a flight stand, because she is a floaty ghost. There you go, that's better focus. Now this one doesn't really have a good place to connect as is, because you can see how she is. You can't really, shove it up the crotch. Now that would look horrible. So what you can do with this, you can actually shave that down before you glue it, so it'll sit on her butt, maybe on the back of the coat. I'll show you. There we are, that's trimmed down. It's going to look nicer attached to the back of her coat. I'm going to super glue this because I'm probably not going to use, this is my model. I'm probably not going to use the flight stand. I'm probably going to have her attached to something else and still look like she's floating, but I just wanted to show you a quick and dirty way to make the flight stand work better for you. There we go. She's not really facing straight on, but that's not going to matter too much to me. If I really wanted to use a flight base, I would shave it a little more so that she'd be, facing more straight on that. But there you go. Kitty Dumont, done. Hardest part was honestly the flight stand, which is completely optional. I guess the right arm, getting that to align correctly with the cup, was the hardest part of actually assembling the model, but she's simple and only a few pieces. Let's move on to the Illuminated. The henchmen, sorry, the minions. Blah. Here's our sprue for the 3 minions. We'll just assemble them down the line, 1, 2, 3. The first 2 should be relatively simple, and the third one just a tiny bit more complicated, because I think it's more pieces. I think. One. Okay, one more piece. Never mind, not that complicated. But starting with Illuminated number 1. I'm sorry, I started clipping before I gave her a little plan of attack, which I'm almost definitely not going to hold myself to. Anyways, we already clipped out the body, whoops. Then we're going to go ahead and slap on the right arm, the left arm, put the little spikiness on his back, and end with his head. See, for the body, I had just the tiniest bit of trouble trimming up this bit of flesh right here on the shoulder. Wasn't too hard, though. Let's add C5, the right arm. Alright, that's easy connection. Let's do the left arm now, C2. Left arm, done. Now we're going to do the spikes on the back. Again, that was also a really easy connection point, which is C3. We're going to do C3 next. No real good way to show you which side is right up, but I'm holding it right side up, so it'll go in just like that. Go. This is going to be C4 the head. That was a little wobbly to fit in there, but then I realized his head is supposed to be pointed to the left, and after that it was a lot easier. Let's get him on a base. Illuminated number 1 is done. I am running out of ideas for names, so we're just going to call him Athos. Hardest part was the head. The rest of the entire... Well, the whole thing was easy. The head was the hardest part, which I've always got to identify because that's my thing now. I guess it's always been my thing. But easy peasy. Let's go on to something even frickin' easier. Illuminated number 2. Here's the sprue. It's 3 pieces. We're going to start with D1 the body, add D2 the right arm, and then put D3 the head on, and call it good. D1! D2, the arm is pointing down. D3, he's looking at his less messed up hand for some reason. We're done. Completed, illuminated number 2. We're going to call this one Porthos, if you haven't figured that out already. 0 difficulty. Oh my goodness. Let's move on. Sprue for illuminated number 3. Going to be our hardest one, but it's still going to be easy, I'm pretty sure. This entire box has been real nice. We'll grab the front of the body, put the 2 legs in there, and then slap on the back of the skirt. Then add the torso to the top and her hair last. It's not really a torso, that's just her upper shoulders and then her head. E2, flip it over. Click, so you can see the 2 slots where the legs are just going to slap in there. Looks like E4 is going to be our right leg and E6 is going to be our left leg. E4 looks like that, and E6 looks like that. Now put E1 over the top of it. Voila, pretty skirt. Now let's jam her shoulders and head on there, which is E3. Bloop, flip her over just to see how she looks now. We're going to flip her right back, but yeah, that looks good. 5 is our last bit. It's just the hair on the back of her head. Voila, all done. Illuminated number 3 is finished. We're going to call her... I guess Aramis is probably not... Artemis. We're going to call her Artemis. Oh, this is a very pretty sculpt. I like this one. The hardest part was getting her legs sort of situated correctly, but that wasn't too difficult. All in all, just a super easy build and a super easy box. Let's see the whole thing. The Jakob Lynch core box all done, starring Jakob Lynch, Hungering Darkness, Kitty Dumont, and Illuminated 1, 2, and 3. Pretty easy box to put together, but very gorgeous models. I appreciate what Weird did here. I've got really nothing else to say. Again, it was quite simple, and they're pretty models, so I think I will just end it here. I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, and I have enjoyed helping you build a better Malifaux. I like that catchphrase.